Okay, first things first, guys. Show Me Something podcast, episode 34. We are joined by a dear friend of mine, Carl Radke. He's now also a podcast host himself, Summer House OG, and I've got it in real time. Are you calling yourself an author, Carl?
No, I'm not.
Carl, you have to. This is awesome.
You can.
I feel like I have to, but I'm not comfortable with that. There's a lot of amazing authors who are real authors. I'm just a regular random dude.
That's why people love you, though.
But Carl did publish a book. It is called Cake Eater. You've kind of got a lot of awesome stuff going on right now. Are you more excited to have the book going around, or are you more excited to start the pod?
I feel like I've been working on both of these things for almost 2 years. So they kind of go hand in hand together. They kind of feed each other. So, both of them have been really fulfilling. It's super fun. Very overwhelming. Some of the book stuff going on tour has been really exciting, but also, I've opened up a lot about, dark, difficult things in my life. It's not like a happy, hug your friends read. It's very difficult, material and things I've been through. So some of it's been amazing, but the goal from the beginning with the book was to help people. And I feel like that's what's happening. So that's all that really matters.
Okay.
Yeah. I should, real quick, Sophie, I'm going to introduce you guys because that's my fault. I didn't even do it.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Sophie, Carl, Sophie. And before I go, this summer when we were filming Summer House, I told Carl, I was like, I might be doing a podcast with Sophie Cunningham. I don't know if you know who that is. Carl and I live in a house with a lot of dudes who aren't super big ball knowers. Carl is a ball knower.
Yeah.
Carl's like, dude, she's a beast. You got to do it. And so I'm glad you two get to meet now.
Okay.
Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Carl. Okay, so I love this. I was just telling Wes, I was like, I think that I just really love him. I just feel like you are just a good freaking human. And there's just something about you that you just want to squeeze. And Wes is like, well, duh. That's why everyone's calls him dad. But seriously, I think that you are a fan favorite for so many reasons. But something that I want to talk to you about, because I think this is so bold and courageous of you, and I love you for it, is you're on a show that is known for partying. How do you say that word? Partying. Yeah, being a partier. And the fact that you just choose to be sober, and now you're into running, you're an author, you're starting your own podcast. I feel like you are living your best years right now. And you're mentally, physically, emotionally, everything, you are just blooming and blossoming, and everyone who watches the show can see it. So let's dive into that big time, because I don't know you, but I'm so proud of you. And I know other people, when I said that we're having you on the podcast, they're like, hell yeah. And I'm like, let's get into it. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you. If I could say anything, I feel like I get way more credit than I deserve. I don't have it all figured out. So I appreciate the kind words, but it's hard sometimes to receive such complimentary feedback, because I've been through a lot of stuff. I'm definitely, I don't think I'm a fan favorite. I appreciate the notion of that, but I've certainly put a lot out there for the fans to talk about over the years. Mm-hmm. Some pretty bad, some pretty ugly, but that's kind of what we're here to do, is show our lives, and all the ugly, all the bad, and the good sometimes. But I've been very lucky and very privileged in a lot of different ways, with a lot of opportunities, and a lot of things have kind of come my way since kind of turning my life around. And a big part of that was admitting that I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. And I had to take those steps. I come from a family that has alcoholism and drug addiction in it, mental health issues. So it was important for me to kind of look in the mirror. And I also watched the show too, Sophie. So seasons 1 through 4, I hated myself. I hated who I was and the person I was putting out. And from season 5 and on, I've really tried to make better choices and really look in the mirror.
One part of your Summer House lore, Carl, that I still haven't watched everything from the beginning, but it's that you were Mr. Sales. just love sales.
I love selling.
And so you graduated from Syracuse with what degree?
Television, radio, and film. And what's funny is in my 8th grade yearbook, we had superlatives, most likely to be an NFL player, most likely to be on TV. It was me, because I always I like the mic and the camera, and a lot of my friends from my hometown and growing up aren't surprised that I'm in the TV world. They're surprised that the way it is, bravo. they thought it might be me like hosting something or being an anchor or doing that. It's a little different.
I think the three of us could all agree we have always liked holding a microphone.
I think we all have a knack for this.
I was going to say, it just comes natural. We have the face and the voice for it.
I thought I always had a face for radio, but
No. So you graduated, and then were you in NYC right after you graduated? Like, came straight here? No.
So it's funny. Like when you're a junior, senior at Syracuse, a lot of the alumni, they either, like in the TV film program, alumni will go to LA or go to New York. And there's like at the time, it feels like what like Reddit is. It's like a forum, but just for Syracuse University. And kids would be like, "Hey, I live in LA. I just graduated last year. I have an open couch. If anybody wants to, crash my couch for 2 months, no problem." Like alumni helped each other out. So when I graduated from Syracuse, I moved to LA like a week and a half after graduation. One bag. I brought an acoustic guitar, like a total loser.
Carl.
Dude, Carl, out of everything that you might need to go across the damn world, you brought a fucking guitar.
Acoustic guitar that I like could barely play, like, Oasis, Wonderwall, I had a dream and I wanted to work in the TV world.
That's actually hilarious. Wait, what year did you start Summer House?
First season of Summer House started filming June 2016.
This is 10 years ago, Soph.
Dude, 2016. I was a sophomore in college.
I had just gotten back from Ibiza on a 6-day bachelor party. Barely slept, and Kyle and I drove out to the Hamptons. We had no idea what the hell was happening. We were already doing this kind of thing with friends.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget when I first moved to New York in 2013. So I'd been in LA for quite a while, and then I came to New York. And I went to dinner with some friends. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing this summer?" I'm like, "I don't know, hanging out in New York City." And they're like, "No, come out to the Hamptons." And what I had learned, the 20-somethings, 30-somethings, finance, fashion, tech, whatever it is, they were like renting a house on the weekend with like a big group of friends. So I joined a house in 2014 and 2015.
Wow.
And I did what we kind of do. Yeah. I met Kyle. I'll never forget the first time I met Kyle West. I don't know if I ever told you this.
Oh, Lord.
It's a true story. I was at Surf Lodge. Now, I was the guy back in the day. I'd get the massive bottle of rosé. Like I'm talking like 6, like it was almost taller than like a 5-foot person.
Oh God.
Yeah. And I had this bottle at the table, and it was like my chum in the water fishing. It was like luring in all the cute girls and whatever.
Of course.
It was embarrassing. I'm not saying this is cool. Trust me.
No, it's cool. It's fine. I still go to Surf Lodge.
Dude, literally no one is judging you. No one is judging you.
So I have this big bottle, and it was one of those, it reminded me of like, I was trying to hold court, and over walks Kyle Cook, and he's like, I think this is what he said, but this is kind of my memory. And he's like, "Sick bottle, dude. Okay. Can I get some?" And I'm like, and I had this thing where the bottle was so big and heavy that like I could pick it up with one hand and like pour it. It wasn't easy, but it was like a douchebag move. Like, "Can you like pour it with one hand?"
Yeah.
So I go to Kyle. I go, "You can have some if you can pour it with one hand." He grabs it and he like couldn't do it. And I like,
damn it, Kyle.
Show how it's done. And then we partied, we hung out, and then I swear, like a couple days later, I was at Equinox in Soho, where I live in New York, and I was at the gym at like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I look over, and here's this blonde kid that looked like the dude from Surf Lodge, and he's at the bench press, like ripping weights and getting after
135, dude, just to set a 3.
It's 2 plates, bro. 2 plates. And I literally was like, "Yo, what's up, dude?" And he was like, "Yeah," and we got each other's numbers.
Oh.
And just became friends from there. But the honest to God truth, I was at my dentist's office a year later. I didn't know anything about a TV show, nothing. I worked in sales, the West sales guy thing. Mm-hmm. I was like a really good sales rep. I worked for a medical dental company. I sold braces and wires and orthodontics. I lived here in New York City. I worked New Jersey and all that. So one of my dentists, who was a friend of Kyle's also, he would give me cleanings, and I'd go in and like pitch him new products. I went into his office in May of 2016. I get in the chair, I lay back, and he's like, "Yo, your boys are going to be on some Bravo show." And I go, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, Kyle and Everett are going to be on some Hamptons reality show." And in the chair, I still have the email. I lay back and I wrote Kyle and Everett an email. Hey boys, I'm at Lane. Lane was the dentist. I'm at Lane's office. What's this show about?
Yeah.
Kyle emailed right back and says, funny you ask. We're looking for another guy.
Say less.
I called Kyle after that, and he's like, me and him knew each other. We were friends, but it wasn't like, I didn't know what was going on. He's like, yeah, we had some guy back out. We're looking for one more dude to complete our house. I know you're a lot of fun and seem like a good guy. Like, what do you think? And I'm like, okay, fuck it.
I love it.
Isn't it crazy the chain of events that just like, because you went to Surf Lodge that one day and Kyle came up to you that one day and then you were at Equinox, like it all leads to like, same with when I met fucking Lindsay. Like it's just like so random.
I'll never forget. She came home from the bar that night. I'll never forget it. She was like, I met the coolest guy ever. And like, we're going to do a podcast together. And she had like this napkin of like a contract.
Oh,
and you guys had drawn up some like arrangement on a piece of paper.
Jeez.
We laughed about this the other day, Sophie. I don't know if you know this. The night I met Lindsay, I like told her, because I was working at Bleacher Report or whatever. And then it's just the most Lindsay thing ever. She was like, you know what would be like a good podcast? Like a girl and a guy talking about sports. It'd be like inclusive, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, honestly, yeah, good idea, whatever. And then we kept drinking. And she was like, you can't steal my fucking idea and take it to Bleacher Report tomorrow. And I was like, no, I would never. So she got a bar napkin, pulled it out, and like Sharpied a contract on a bar napkin and then made me sign it.
So funny.
And then we talked about it again the other day, and she was like, well, I guess you broke your fucking contract. You have a podcast with the girl now. You guys talk about sports.
Shit. That was my fault. I know.
Here
my bad. My bad. Wait, you talked about it, and I want to know, because I didn't realize how in depth your relationship with Kyle really was or is. Is it like so weird to look back on the last like 10 years? Because I think a lot of people, because I'm not in the reality TV world, and so I've asked Wes this multiple times. It's like, are these relationships like real relationships? Like when you are on a show, is it like, oh, you have to be because you're part of the show? Or like you genuinely kind of start liking your castmates? And I feel like Kyle is one that you guys have been through so much with. And so like, just like the first 3 episodes of this season, I just feel like you have just grown and matured so much in like every aspect of your life. And like now I feel like you're looking at Kyle like, hey, like, you can get out of this and you can blossom too. But I feel like you're in a tough spot of like him needing to realize it himself, but also you kind of being his mentor because you've been through it.
Very solid perspective. It's interesting. Kyle's been through a lot with me on the other side. Before I was getting sober, Kyle had to deal with a lot of my ups and downs. I'd show up to work pretty screwed up from the night before. I infamously showed up to work forgetting my laptop. So he had put up with a lot over the years with me. And, we're best friends. I love the guy to death.
Yep.
But I definitely, it's been hard seeing, some of these challenges that he's gone through. But I will say, like, we both, like, when I'm having a tough time, he's there for me. When he's having a tough time, I'm there for him. But I try not to be, just stand back and, like, be a helpful person. But I try to voice some things that I feel like are important. But we're very different people. And what's the psycho fitness guy that I love to death, like it's gotten less of that. And I'm trying to push him back into more fitness and wellness, because I think that'll unlock some things for him as well.
Yep.
Do you obviously I think you're a hyper self-aware person, especially now that just
too much to my own fault. Probably.
I know. But do you like, how much do you tiptoe? Because I feel like you would worry about having kind of like the God complex now of being the sober person, dealing with, like our dumb, drunk crybaby moments and stuff. I think you do a great job of like sharing your story without being condescending towards other people, but kind of to what Sophie brought up about now it's kind of like your time to give Kyle that like brotherly advice. How do you navigate like not coming off pretentious in the like sobriety like lens,
I think it's an amazing. I'm glad you asked that, Wes, because I think that's something I'm very conscious of. I think when I first got sober, I mean, even you could ask Lindsay probably, like I would look at people early on when I got sober, like, oh, you're just drunk. Like I had this high and mighty, like I was better than you kind of a little bit. And it's not a great thing to be in early sobriety. Like you don't have it all figured out. I had to humble myself a little bit and kind of step back and go, listen, whatever works best for them, that's okay. You know, not everybody's an alcoholic, not everybody's a drug addict. You don't need to insert your own story into every little thing. So I'm just trying to step back. You know, I have some friends that, of course, like deep down in my body, am I like, should I say something?
Yeah.
But I don't. I try to step back and just be a support, be a friend. And I try not to make a lot of our conversation all about sobriety. It's one of the most important things in my life, but I want to be just a regular guy too. And sometimes I love my sober community. Sometimes when you're newly sober, that's like all you talk about.
But I also want to say though, I think the amount of people that I know, because they know I do this with Wes, that they bring you up and they're like, you know, it's really cool to see someone who is sober on the show. Like, I think you're not giving yourself enough credit, because I think that you've given a lot of people inspiration who are in their late 20s, early 30s, well, like whatever it is, to like be sober and totally be like so okay with that and like stand in full confidence to do that. So I think you need to give yourself more credit about the amount of people that you're seriously like inspiring to do that. Because I know there's a lot of people who want to, but they're like, oh, I might not fit in, or like, how am I going to go socialize? Or it's like, no, Carl is like the prime example. And like, I think you give a lot of people hope. So I think you need to give yourself a little bit more credit.
No, I appreciate that. It's something I'm working on, is receiving of compliments and praise. I
think we're all bad at that in some way. You know what I mean?
I sometimes, I think, you know, I feel it's not lost on me the impact that having, you know, me in this experience and kind of being honest about my ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I think it's more relatable to have a group of friends that, okay, one of the people in the group doesn't drink anymore, doesn't party like that, but he still is social, still likes to have fun.
Yep.
And I'm proud that I get to kind of showcase a little bit of that experience to the audience.
For sure.
You know, and I think also I'm not going to speak for Kyle or Lindsay or Amanda, who did spend a lot of time with me under the influence. I was a nightmare. I was a fucking pain in the ass. I was an asshole. I was rude. I was a dick. I was just all like, I was chaotic.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, the way once I told like close friends, they were like, thank God.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. You know, so.
But because I think people love you. You don't need that stuff. You know what I mean? Some people, actually, I don't know if really anyone needs it, but like some people feel like that's their whole identity.
I thought it gave me this kind of like confidence and who I thought I wanted to be, but as a result, it actually was the opposite. And
dude, you figured it out.
I've learned to kind of fall back into like, no, this is just me. If you don't like me for this, then okay, no worries. But I'd rather you hate me.
That's when you say, if you don't like me, then fuck you. It's your problem, not mine.
I got to bring Sophie out to the summer house. I like this.
Yeah, we've talked about it.